Right off the top, White Sox relief pitcher Bobby Jenks will not take the stand in his defense. It's the opinion of Jenks' attorneys that the prosecution in both Minnesota and Seattle did not prove their case. However, I will tell you this much. Every time Ozzie Guillen calls out Bobby Jenks, what transpires? Jenks comes back with a flourish. How you doing, everybody? I'm Daily Coppock. Welcome once again to the Daily Coppock as we break down what's going on within the structure of the games people play. Chris Paul, superb guard, the New Orleans Hornets, has his own ideas for a magic trio, if you will. Right now, Paul is trying to engineer a deal from New Orleans to join Amari Stoudemire and the New York Knicks. However, that's just part of the equation. Carmelo Anthony, Mello Carmelo, is going to be a free agent after the upcoming NBA basketball season. Now, Paul would like Mello to join the team at 33rd and 7th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. Meanwhile, while that's going on, can you imagine this? Carmelo Anthony right now is sitting on a 3-year extension offer from the Denver Nuggets worth, gasp, $65 million. $65 million. You know, we leave no stone unturned. In our interest in letting you people know what has gone down during the course of modern history, we simply have to bring up this very salient item. 45 years ago today, the Rolling Stones, do you recognize them all? The late Brian Jones, Mick, Keith, Charlie, former bassist Bill Wyman. Well, isolate on Mick, Keith, and Bill Wyman. 45 years ago today, they were fined £5 each by a judge in the UK for inappropriate conduct. What was their offense? They pissed on the wall of a gas station because the service station owner wouldn't let them use the facilities. All right, you know what? This is so far above and beyond hypocritical, I don't even know where to go with it. We could talk for 5 hours about this. Nick Saban down in Alabama says that agents are evil. Agents are pimps. Yeah, Nick, and let me tell you, all the guys in your fraternity are Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi. I mean, football coaches never illegally recruit. Football coaches never promise starting jobs to lure the big plums to their campuses. They never send football players out on a Saturday knowing full well that that player is in a physical position where he really should be doing anything but play football. Nick Saban calling agents pimps, saying it's time for the National Football League to step in and help out college football. Nick, you know what? Why don't you ask all the coaches in D1 to clear up their own house before you start taking on the agents? All right, while we're at it, hey, college football, it's almost here. Rally Sons of Notre Dame. Well, maybe not necessarily. Here is the chart from VegasInsider.com. Alabama and Saban, 9-2 to win the BCS title. Ohio State and Jimmy Tressel, 5-1. Urban Meyer, Florida, 8-1. Boise State, a very sexy pick at 10-1. But the only way that Boise State can get in the national title game is you've got to have just one team come out of your Big Six conferences undefeated. As for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, they are way down the chart at 75-1. And so help me, Rich Rodriguez, this is almost unthinkable. Michigan is 150-1. Now, some people are going to tell you this is a cheap buy. The bat used by Peter Everett Rose, Charlie Hustle, to record his 4,256th Major League base hit, the final base hit of his career, a 32-ounce black Mizuno bat, has been auctioned off for $158,000. Now, say what you want about Pete Rose, but in my opinion, he's a stand-up guy, and I'll tell you why. This goes back to late January, early February 1995. I was down in Miami doing television for the New York outlet, News Sport. On a Saturday night, we wanted to do a big pregame show. We were at National Football League headquarters up on the top floor. I called Rose, who lived in Boca. There was absolutely no reason for Rose to want to deal with the traffic, deal with the hassle, but Pete came down, did the show, stayed 90 minutes, could not have been more eloquent, could not have been more funky, could not have been more outrageous. You know what? My opinion, hey, working my side of the street as a broadcaster, Pete Rose is a stand-up guy. Let's call this the ultimate creep show. This makes the Texas Chainsaw Massacre look like, choose one, Robin Hood, or maybe, I don't know, Leave It to Beaver. The utensils that were used to perform the autopsy on Elvis Presley are going to be placed up for bid right here in Chicago by the Hinman people over on Lake Street. I mean, who wouldn't want to take home a scalpel along with an arterial tube used to preserve the body of Elvis Presley. Hey, little Tommy, let's go to the King's death auction. What could be more fun? Why go to a ball game? Why go to the water park? Let's go to the King's death auction. Who says we live in a crazy, mixed up, muddled up world except for Lola? Now, you know what? We said we were going to do this on Friday, and we are. It's time to answer some questions directed our way through Facebook. First of all, Mary DeGroot, a Chicagoan, writes, Dear Chester, comma, what kind of dough would Joe Girardi want to manage the Chicago Cubs? Well, he's got a World Series ring. He's got a homegrown pedigree. Obviously, a very, very hot guy. He's managing the sexiest team in Major League Baseball, arguably the sexiest team in all of sports in the New York Yankees. My guess is probably a minimum of $4.5 million, maybe $5.5 million. I don't think that's out of line. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Kaywood, Los Angeles, California, writes, Chester, will the Lakers repeat in 2011? I like the addition of Matt Barnes to the Lakers. I still think that Kobe Bryant has not reached his ultimate peak. The downhill slide has not begun. Phil Jackson's still on the bench. You're going to argue against that track record? Hey, I know the Miami Heat right now are the betting favorite at 7-5. The Lakers follow at about 9-2. Whatever the case may be, I like the Lakers to win an NBA title. Meanwhile, you know, we close on a note that is seemingly sad, but is really, in my opinion, a celebration of life. Do you know the name Dick Buckley? If you don't, shame on you. Along with the legendary Daddy O'Daly. Dick and Daddy O'Daly were the godfathers of jazz in Chicago. Matter of fact, Buckley once said, you know, if I had to go to a deserted island, I would want one record by the immortal Count Basie, one record by the incomparable Duke Ellington, and one record by Louis Armstrong. Sadly, Dick Buckley has passed away. He's a man who was also the voice of Schlitz Beer, just a brilliant announcer whose love of jazz and whose understanding of the symmetry and the uniqueness of jazz was unsurpassed. We say goodbye to one hell of a guy. We say goodbye to Dick Buckley. Meanwhile, you know what? Check us out on Facebook. Let us know what you're thinking about, what questions you might want answered right here on the Daily Coppock. It's weekend time, TGIF. We will catch you on Monday. So long, everybody.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue
Everybody
for
cozy?
me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.